Lisey's story was originally published in 2006, so we were very excited to get into the 2000s with Stephen King. Mostly all of our books so far have been in the 80s, besides Carrie, which was in the 70s. So we've jumped 20 years into the future. This is New King. This is the NK. Wait, no. NK. NSK. If you're not familiar with Lisey's story, this is a psychological horror romance novel. Did I give you the full synopsis, even though I kind of already did that? Let me give you the full synopsis. Without spoiling anything as we talk about it. So, psychological horror romance about Lisey Landon. 2 years after the death of her famous husband, Scott Landon, Lisey begins cleaning his study, which triggers memories of Scott's traumatic childhood and a secret supernatural realm called Booyah Moon. That is funny. That's the first time I've seen that written out because I listened to the book. I didn't know how it was spelled, and that's how it's spelled. BOO apostrophe YA MOON. MOON. That spells Booyah Moon. While Lisey is in the meantime, while she's doing this, she is terrorized by an unhinged stalker. So that's what we read. It wasn't a very long book, but it was cool to get into the 2000s with Stephen King. So let's do like a brief summary of our thoughts of the book without talking about the end. And maybe if we think about some other things along the way, then we'll talk about the end, and then we'll give our rating. How about that? How's that sound? Okay. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first, since you probably have greater detail than I?
I don't care.
I don't care?
I don't care.
Okay, well, I'll go first, because then you'll probably think of things to counter the things that I say.
I don't know. We might be on the same page. We'll see.
You read it with your eyeballs, which means you have a firm understanding of this book. I listened to it, which was 19 hours and 21 minutes of listening on Audible. Shout out to Audible.
Shout out to all.
That's the only one that had it. So here's what I would start off with. And I'm going to say this for every single book review, because I'm admitting that I am not a writer. I'm just a listener, and I don't know what it takes to write a book. The most I've ever written was a 5-page, whatever I had to do in college. So I'm not knocking the talented man that he is, but I am a critical man. So I will be critical, as I have been with all these reviews. Not to say that I'm right or wrong, or we're doing, I lean towards the critical route. This book, I will say, is not meant to be listened to.
I would agree.
This book is not meant, I would not recommend listening to this book. Lisey's mom, who has almost every Stephen King book and has read them multiple times, even said that she didn't really understand it the first time, and she had to reread it, which is a lot. Coming from her, saying that she had to reread the book to understand it. I think that so, by the way, this is Stephen King's, like, one of his favorite books. And there's a 30-minute interview at the end of it, which I understood actually the best out of the whole book. There's an interview with him at the end where he says it's his favorite because a lot of things in the book connected to his real life. And one of the things he said he really likes is how in the book where, you're married and you guys kind of have your own internal language and you make up things. And they're like insiders and all that stuff. And I totally agree. That's cool. Me and Kaylee have lots of insiders and lots of random words that we say to each other. But we're not saying those words to other people. So in this book, he kept saying that things were a certain thing, but then saying the other name for the thing. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Everyone had a nickname. Everyone's called something different. His sister's name was Lisey's sister's name was Amanda, which they call her Mandy. That's fine. Good. Her mom and dad, they had different names. It was like, what was it? Good Mama, or was it
Good Ma.
Good Ma? And that was, do you remember?
Dandy.
Dandy. Okay. Yeah.
Also, Amanda had another nickname.
She did. She did. And they had nicknames for Lisey and then her other sister. And then I was listening to the book, and the whole book is about the word bool, Bool, Moon.
That spells moon.
That spells moon. The word bool, which had like several meanings and said several different things. And there was one part of the book where I like audibly said WTH, or maybe WTF, I don't know. Where it was like, he said a bull is like a book, but it's also like a boom. And I'm like, sir, you're playing games with me. Sir, you're playing hardcore rap games with me, because I don't understand what you're trying to say. And then everyone had a nickname, and like they were all talking to themselves, but then they were talking to themselves out loud using the different words that they made up, but then they would say the real word. So I'm trying to play like a mental gymnastics of understanding this book. And I don't think I understood the book for the majority part. There wasn't really a part where like everything was just kind of clear to me and I was getting a clear understanding. The book, I think for me, so there's a lot of their relationship, and then there was a lot of like changing locations. They would go to Booyah Moon and the pool and all this, and so I was trying to keep track of that as well. But it was a rough time for me, and I was really trying to focus. The point of the book where it really like made sense to me, and I wish that he would have talked more about this. And in his interview, he did mention that it could be a movie or a book in itself. Was Paul the brother. Wait, am I jumping books?
No, Paul's the brother.
Oh, right. Okay, Paul Landon and Scott Landon. Sorry. Because I'm thinking of Paul.
There's a Paul in Misery.
Yeah,
too,
that's.
So
I jumped the books there. Where it was focusing on their upbringing. And I feel like when he started talking about them together growing up and their dad, and when Paul shifted to the bad gunky, that like I got invested in that part. That's when I was finally like, oh, okay, this is cool. I can follow this. This is dark. This is like, this is really cool. But, then that ended and I was back to nothingness. So, so that's my initial thoughts. I'll say that the bad guy of the book, the stalker guy, didn't make too much sense to me, because he wanted like these lost or hidden books from the writer Scott Landon. Go figure, he's a writer, of course. And Lisey said, hey, take the books. And he was like, that's not what we agreed on. But like, hey man, just take the books. You want the books, take the books. And I didn't understand that conflict as well. So that's my long critical view of the book. It may take you a couple of reads if you do read this. I wouldn't, like I said, recommend listening to it. But I can see his passion in the book only because of the interview afterwards that he explained, he experienced someone in real life who was a stalker to him and came to his house when he wasn't there and had approached his wife and said he had a bomb and threatened her, and he didn't actually really have a bomb. Like it looked like a bomb, but it wasn't an active thing. So he's experienced stalkers in his life. I forgot what the stalker said to him, to his wife, but so a lot of things in real life he brought into the book. He never had sisters, but his wife had lots of sisters, and so he understands the dynamic of that. So he wanted to have that in the book. So there's a lot of things I think he was putting in the book, but it just didn't hit for me. Didn't hit for me. So that's from a listener's ear. Lisey, what do you think from a reader's ear? Or eyeballs.
Eyeballs. I liked it a lot better than Tommy Knockers, for sure.
Okay, so we went from an upswing, then that's good.
But it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. I think kind of like what you were saying with the backstory with his brother and his dad, that was really interesting. I think there were like a few different areas like that I'm like, oh, if we really focused on this one thing predominantly, this could be really interesting. But it felt like to me, he was trying to do too much in one book. Like, you've got the Booyah Moon place, you have his childhood upbringing, you've got this stalker person, you have Manda, the sister, and her like psychotic break. There's like all these different things. Oh, and then like how Scott died. Like you start the book and you don't really have answers for any of those things. And it's all kind of like alluded to in a mystery, and like it's briefly kind of mentioned, but he's not getting into it. So you're like, what is this about really? Like a tease, but it's like for five different things, five different like plots or storylines or whatever. And then as the book continues, gradually she remembers things that reveals more of these areas, or with the stalker, just more develops, and you find out, as it progresses, why he's doing what he's doing or whatever. But I feel like for all of those things to just gradually be revealed, like it felt really drawn out, and it felt like it was just too much going on. And it was a lot to focus on top of the made up language, which again, totally agree. We have our own, sayings and stuff, but we're not using them with other people. And also, it wasn't just like Scott and Lisey. Like you said, they had nicknames for everyone. Constantly, Lisey is like thinking to herself and or talking to people, and she's saying phrases that her parents said growing up. As good Ma always said, don't forget to flip the turkey or something. I don't know, like just some dumb stuff. And it's like, okay, if I knew someone in real life that was constantly referencing sayings from people I've never met and the sayings meant nothing to me, I'd be so annoyed. And I was annoyed reading like all that. Like it just all of it felt like he was trying to do too much, which also again, I'm not an author. So like this is way better than anything I could ever do. No real shade there. A lot of people really liked it. It was a successful book. But for me, I just feel like I don't know, there was just too much. And maybe if he took a few elements out, or even if some things were just explained up front, like we knew in like immediately how Scott died or something, I think it just would have been better. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I'm waiting for all these things are getting really built up and then they're all revealed at the same time, basically. And I think it kind of makes everything that's revealed feel not as big because there's like all these other things that are being revealed at the same time, and it's like taking away from that.
That's the technique.
Yeah.
Lisey, that's the technique.
I think he was trying to get a little too creative with the technique. And as we'll soon talk about, there are more simple books.
Yeah.
That maybe I'm just a dum-dum, but I think the simple can be better executed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it just like there were times where it was really interesting. Like when they're talking about the backstory with the brother and the dad. I think that was maybe the most interesting to me, or the long boy.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
but like, I don't know,
I still got
not enough
confused during that
attention
part
on
too, though.
those. Well, I can only imagine, like reading it, the way he was describing it, and then he's half describing it, and then Lisey's like, no, that's not real. We're not talking about that. I'm like, what is happening?
Hmm.
And I'm just like, I guess I'm along for the ride and it'll make sense eventually. So much of the first half of the book was, what the heck is happening? But I'm trusting it will all make sense eventually.
Yeah,
So, especially listening to it,
he's trying to pull you
that would
in.
that would be, it didn't pull me in. It
Hmm.
was just confusing. And I actually didn't know. My mom said she had to read it twice to make it make sense.
Yeah,
That's pretty crazy.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
She read it twice. She said, I didn't really get it the first time, but the second time I really got the story. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't want to listen to it again.
I definitely, I mean, I was eager to be done with
Yeah.
it. I
And,
don't know. It wasn't terrible. I mean, it was better than the Tommy Knockers, but I think I had really high expectations for it.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, it's funny. So I think the the one thing I took from the book is I kept saying bull. I still say bull. I think if there's anything, and that was said so much,
And Bad Gunky.
and bad gunky and smuck, and so
Yeah.
I think if anything, it did impress on me. That stayed with me, bull, and
Hmm.
the various meanings. Fun fact, real quick. Someone asked on Reddit, can someone explain, spoilers included, Lisey's story, the book to me? And the first comment says, number one, bull. Number two, the end. So it was bull, the end. That was there. That was there.
There's something
Yeah.
about Bull the End that just instantly makes me angry, and I don't know why. Like, it's very triggering for me. We're watching the show now, and even in the show, okay, the show is much better. Like, they cut back on a lot of the made up language and stuff, but they still have Bull in it. And there was he has these notes lying around waiting for her, and one of them was Bull, the end. And
Hmm.
I don't know, it just, the way it sounds, I don't know what it is. It makes me irate.
Hmm.
Don't like it.
Yeah, I think he does a good. And so Stephen King wrote the screenplay for the show, so it's all him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he, in his interview, he talked about like things that he changed, and I think the show, and probably because they have to, but it explains certain things, which I'm like, oh, okay, okay, like it helps me to understand it, which the book wasn't explaining those things. Like
Or if it did, it was really like way later, and it was
yeah,
while five other things were happening. So it
true.
kind of got lost.
Like I feel like it took them a while to explain what bull was.
Yeah, no, it did.
Yeah,
And like when they first started explaining it, you're right. There were like three different definitions depending on the context that you used it.
yeah,
You were even asking me, and I was further ahead of you, and I was like, I don't know. Sometimes it's a bad thing, sometimes it's a good thing.
yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Yep. Yep, that's how I felt too.
Mhm.
So we'll talk about the end here because we talked quite a bit, and obviously, go give it a read if you haven't. If you like Stephen King, and if you disagree, I'd love to hear in the comments what you disagree. People online and Reddit, they're saying they cried at the end of this book.
I've cried during his books, but not this one.
You didn't cry at the end of this one, yeah? People on Reddit. I mean,
Mm-mm.
it's probably 3 or 4 people here, but they've all said they cried at the end of the book. So it is an impactful book for people. So that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
The ending I the show is trying to do this where like there was a scene where Scott had the pool water in his mouth and then transferred it
Mm-hmm.
like an exorcist throw up style but of water. And I kept thinking of the book, like, how is she holding on to the pool water in her mouth for like a day or so, but still can hold on to the taste of the water? I know it's supernatural and all that stuff, but the ending, I was just like, okay, so the stalker meets up with him at the end, and the sister part, that was, that was good, and
Mm-hmm.
going to get the sister away from Booyah Moon. Like it was a big adventure there, and I felt like he was really into that adventure. Um, but then they have to come back and face this stalker who I feel like they could have just got the cops involved more. Like it's just a regular guy. Like he is a
Mm-hmm.
regular old guy who's addicted to Scott, the main character, well, second main character's books. And so he came, he messed her up, he roughed her up pretty good. And then he said, "Hey, I'm coming back for our agreement," which again, he could have just taken the books the first time. So she was able to hold on to the pool water from Booyah Moon when she went and rescued her sister and transported him to Booyah Moon. And one, they had a gun, okay? Like the gun thing pissed me off. They had a gun. They could have shot him even if he turned the lights off. Just start firing bullets. One of the bullets will hit him. Also, the cop is there. Call all the cops. We know the guy is around. And so they transfer him there, and there's a tussle, and then the long boy got him, right?
Yeah.
And
They took him to Booyah Moon.
and then Boolean, that's right. That's up from there.
Hmm.
And then Boolean. So I think I was just more so like frustrated with like, I understand it's the book and there's a lot of supernatural stuff going, which I'm all for. I was just like, this is just a normal guy who you can easily shoot a normal guy. But it's cool that you took him to the other world and left him there to die. That was mostly all I really kind of understood what was happening. And there's a lot of grief and overcoming grief. I think there's a lot of hints of that throughout the book. But I was just like, oh, okay. That's how they kill the stalker that they built up so much through the book. But then you told me, because I don't remember this and probably didn't understand it, you said that now that the stalker is a part of the long boy and now they're going to be chasing her forever or something like that, right?
Well, it's not because of the stalker. It's because in getting the long boy to eat the stalker, it also noticed and saw Lisey.
Ah,
And
okay.
so once it sees someone in Booyah Moon, then it's like it tracks them and remembers them. Like it haunted Scott for his whole life because he had an encounter as a kid with it. Um, and so now it like knows Lisey and is tracking her, not because of the stalker, but just because I guess it eats people.
Okay. Which he created Booyah Moon, right? Scott Landon, the second main character, he created that area.
I don't know if he created it or if he just found it and called it that
Okay.
because other people went there. Like
Right.
when
That's true.
Manda had her psychotic break, she was stuck there.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's like
so
almost like a purgatory type place.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you like the ending? Was it a good resolve? Did it end well as you wanted it to, or what do you feel about that as a reader?
It was meh. I mean, it was kind of cool that like this giant monster creature ate the stalker, but like
Mm,
he's not dead. He's just forever, again, kind of like a purgatory, stuck in this beast in like eternal turmoil.
yeah,
Um,
bird.
that's kind of interesting. I like that after everything is said and done, it's not just over. Like
Yeah.
she now because she's been to Booyah Moon so many times, she's accidentally going there in her sleep. Which if you're there for too long, it's dangerous.
Mm,
Or if you're there at night, it's dangerous. And it tied into like how when she was married to Scott, she'd wake up in the middle of the night and he'd be gone.
mm,
And then he'd reappear in the bed and she couldn't make sense of it. Um, so that was like I liked that it tied in there. I liked that there were kind of like consequences, and she had to learn how to permanently like stay present in this world and not become gone in the other one.
Mhm.
But otherwise, I didn't feel like it was that big of a like resolution or anything. I think I was disappointed with the stalker in general and kind of bored by him. Like there
Okay.
just wasn't a lot of motive. Like I think in the book he wasn't even portrayed as that big of a Scott Landon fan because like you said, at one point she was like, take all of his books, take all of his writing, take everything. And he was like, no, you have to give it to so and so. And she mentioned briefly, you might have missed it, that okay, he's not doing this because he wants the books. He's doing this because he wants to hurt me and he's using this as an excuse to justify hurting me, the thing that he wants to do. Which okay, fine, but like it just felt kind of flat, like there wasn't really much to him.
He just wants the books.
So I think I was like, I don't really care what happens to him.
Get that man the books.
He didn't want the books.
I know it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was cool that her sister got saved, but I don't know. I think
Yeah.
I just wasn't as invested in the characters.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend the show because it is boring.
Some of the episodes are okay, but the last one was bad.
Sheesh. It just made me feel. It just made me think about how boring the book was, how boring the show was. I'm like, yes, finally a new brand, one of the newest Stephen King show besides Welcome to Derry, like that we've seen.
Yeah,
This is gonna be good, and it's the
with actors
screenplay.
we know.
Yeah, Julianne Moore, and I'm like, oh, Stephen King. Yeah, okay, cool, cool. I'm like, boring. But hey,
Yeah.
that's how it goes. So that's our review. It's time for us to give our rating. Our highest book to date still is The Stand. I had 8.9. Kayleezy had 9.5. Carrie, I had 8.1. Kayleezy had 7 even. Pet Cemetery 7.2 for me, 8 for Kayleezy. Tommy Knockers, oof, 5.8 for me, 6.7 for Kayleezy. So as we update our rotation here, I don't know if it was worse than Tommy Knockers. I'm trying to think because this is a make it or break it. Was it worse than Tommy Knockers? I understood Tommy Knockers though. I at least understood Tommy Knockers, even though it was a bad book, in my opinion, of course. But that brothers section was pretty good. And yeah, I think I'll put it above Tommy Knockers. I'm gonna go 6 flat. That's my review. 6 flat. That's my rating.
What did I give Tommy Knockers?
6.7. 6.7.
I would say it was better than Tommy Knockers.
Okay.
I'd give it a 6.8.
6.8 just by 1. Okay. I go up 0.2. You went up 0.1.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
want to go up too much higher and
Yeah,
get too close to
no.
Carrie.
I understand. Yeah, I mean, Carrie was way better, but that's my own personal opinion. All right. There we have it in the books. Lisey's story is going on our rating, which we just are pretty much keeping on our YouTube page, on our post page, CK Reviews, if you ever check that out. Lisey's story, I gave it a 6, 5 point. Yeah, I gave it a 6 flat. And you gave it a 6.8. You went up. You went up. Wait, what? Okay.
I'm not good at rating things.
I know. You'll get better as we go. This is our 5th book. So
I think it's only going to get harder
don't
the
say
more
that.
we read.
Don't say that. So we are already knee deep into our newest book, which is Kayleezy has chosen Misery, which does have a movie. I've seen clips of this movie, I think, over the years, but it's this one, Kathy Bates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So Misery is another psychological horror movie, go figure, or sorry, novel, um, which features two main characters in a relationship that is interesting, to say the least. A number one and a writer, which could this connect with Stephen King and fans? Maybe how he got the idea for this book, I don't know. But this was written in 1987. Go figure, guys. Tommy Knockers was also published in 1987. So there you have it. Let me just tell you something. We're in this book and we are liking it a lot more than Lisey's story. We are in it. Kaylee's is already ahead of me. I'm thinking about finish it when I'm traveling. If I got time, I'm be 4.5 hours in the car. But yeah, we like this book. We understand this book so far. And the tension between the two main characters is very well done. I mean, the writing is, I don't understand. Maybe he had a stronger pulse on this one because he's, the fan may be his actual fans and things he's experienced. And he put himself, in the Paul Sheldon character. But
I don't know. It seems like he related a lot to Lisey's story.
I know he did.
But I know what you're saying. It feels different.
Yeah. So that's our book.
Maybe he just focused on one thing and that was really good for him.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil too much if you haven't read the book yet. Maybe it's your time to read it and we'll talk about it in our next review. It's a 12-hour book for me. And I don't know how many pages for you, but it's just shorter than Lisey's story. So the way Kaylee's going, I wouldn't be surprised if this book is done in a week or so. So we'll have our review then. And yeah, there's our review of Lisey's story, and we're off to the races with Misery. So that's exciting.